As America goes to the polls, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and John Rockefeller are forced to wait. Ultimately, this decision lies in the hands of the American people. The country is divided. Democrat William Jennings Bryan carries the rural South and Midwest, while Ohio Governor William McKinley takes the big money Northeast. As the results are tallied, the nation holds its breath. Until finally, a president is chosen. Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Morgan have dodged a bullet. The country remains in their control. With McKinley in office, they're free to conduct business in the way they've become accustomed.
After McKinley's election, a number of the issues that had bothered the big businessmen conveniently went away. He was a man who was, in his philosophy, in his approach to politics, very much in sympathy with them.
McKinley rolls back regulations, and profits once again skyrocket. It's back to business as usual. And Carnegie, Rockefeller, and Morgan are set to become even more powerful than ever before. They've defeated their common enemy, and with that ultimate goal achieved, their uneasy alliance begins to fray. Rockefeller is the first to break ranks.
Because Rockefeller, because Carnegie were so wealthy, because they had so much money, they had more money than they could profitably reinvest in their own companies, they were looking for things to invest in.
John Rockefeller learns of a massive deposit of iron ore in northern Minnesota, the primary material used in the production of steel. Rockefeller knows little about the steel business. What he does know is that Andrew Carnegie is the biggest steel producer in the world, and that this is his chance to beat his longtime rival at his own game.
If you were a well-run company, competing against other well-run companies, you're coming up with ideas to jump them. You're gonna be thinking, they might do this, I'm gonna do this. It's not a big, complicated thing.
Rockefeller is a fool.
How so? Should we be worried?
No. You can buy iron ore anywhere. And the ore from the Mesabi mines is like dust. It clogs the blast furnaces. No steel producer in his right mind would buy it.
But Carnegie is wrong. Steel manufacturers quickly figure out how to use the iron ore, and Rockefeller immediately begins supplying it to Carnegie's competitors at rock-bottom prices.
There are many people who either worked for Carnegie, knew how to make steel, could figure out, well, if I could raise a little bit of money, maybe I could start my own steel company and price it just a little bit lower than Carnegie. And guess what? Customers will come to me to buy their steel.
As the competition heats up, Carnegie's customers begin to flee. The impact is devastating. In just months, Carnegie's profits begin to crater. Sensing weakness, Rockefeller devises a daring scheme. He's going to build a steel plant, one to rival anything Andrew Carnegie has ever built. But Carnegie knows he can't let that happen.
Carnegie is determined that nobody's going to take his place. He's going to build new plants. He's going to destroy. If Rockefeller goes into steel, he'll destroy him.
Carnegie calls a meeting, hoping to intimidate Rockefeller into staying out of the steel business. But Rockefeller didn't become the richest man in American history by cowering in fear.
Mr. Rockefeller.
Mr. Carnegie.
You don't want to negotiate with me. I am a great negotiator. I know I intimidate people. I understand that. I get it. And I understand why. And I don't want to intimidate anybody unless they try to hurt me. Then I hurt them back.
Their rivalry has lasted for decades. But now, for the first time ever, Carnegie and Rockefeller are locking horns directly. The negotiations last for months, and neither man is willing to give in.
Negotiating is a real art. It's an art. And a great negotiator is like a great surgeon, and they're very, very rare. You don't see it often.
Rockefeller has already made a fortune in oil. His investment in steel is just a small part of his portfolio.
You have to be willing to walk away. You have to be willing to walk away. And people who won't walk away from a deal, in my experience, end up making bad deals.
Carnegie knows he has little choice. In order to stay on top, he needs to do whatever it takes to keep Rockefeller out of steel.
I will buy the entire output of your mines. In return, you will renounce your decision to construct a steel mill.
Agreed.
Both knew that at some point they would have to reach a deal in which neither got everything he wanted, but neither got destroyed in the process. Rockefeller and Carnegie, in the end, were smart enough to know that they were both too big to get into a battle.
The agreement is one of the most satisfying of Rockefeller's career. He's forced his biggest rival to hand over a fortune. In exchange for an iron ore mine he never had much interest in owning. Rockefeller may have gotten the better of Carnegie, but their deal has drawn the attention of another rival, who envisions something even bigger.